The answer was down the block, you know? So the other thing I think, though, is keeping a good eye on your physical self and taking good care of yourself, because we don't realize as artists we have even more needs than the average human being. I mean, we're very sensitive. I'm very sensitive, certainly, to what's going on and the bad news and all those things, and I try not to take in too much. I'm dedicated to a healthy mind. I think they're always trying to scare us, and there's more good going on than bad, but we only hear about the bad, you know. So I like to stay warm and take care of my voice and take care of my body and exercise. And if I'm feeling really lousy for lack of sleep or lack of food or, low blood sugar or any of those things, my emotions plummet. I just go right into depression. You need to keep up your reserves. You need to keep up your stamina. And I don't think you can confidently feel like anything, let alone a writer or a successful human being, if you're out of gas, So little things like that. And wonderful things like, staying warm in the winter. We forget how freezing we are going places. I just heard about these. These are these things called wristies. And all my students are complaining about forearms and pain in their wrists and carrying heavy guitar cases back and forth to all these buildings in the winter. These are the most fabulous things, and we're going to try to get them sold right at the Berkeley bookstore. So you put a glove right over that, and you're just taking good care of everything, because everything we do is like, it's physical, So even if you want your muscles to work right, you got to drink enough water. Some people are like, and playing. They wonder why they're getting like tendinitis and all kinds of troubles. You need rest, you need time out, and you need warmth and inspiration. Yeah, and then the inspiration comes because you feel great. You're like, yeah, it's another day. Like my puppies that remind me every day, it's another day and you're here. Here's my favorite food, there's my favorite toy. Yay! That's my guitar. Because some days I feel uninspired. I think, oh, I'm exhausted. What am I going to do today? I'm like, are you crazy? You would have killed when you were 11 years old to have the toys you have now. Get in your studio and make stuff,
That's cool. Anybody else making songs, thinking about stuff?
I want to hear you play the harp eventually.
Right, indeed. But yes, let's have a question from you.
I was just going to say, I think sometimes I get too wrapped up in the lyrics, and I think especially now, like the last several songs that I've written, maybe it's the time that I'm in my life, but I want to write stuff that's very true to me, but not too, out there and like too much full of imagery, but very like concrete and real. And what you were saying about, the boom in my heart, it's like, that's such a good image, but it's so straightforward.
Yeah.
And I think
you gotta steal from the best.
Exactly. But I mean, and as far as writing prose and stuff, I still do that. And I think a lot of people here do that. I know I have so many friends that are songwriters, because everyone I know here writes songs, and it's an amazing creative thing to be around.
Yeah. Did you say you write prose as well?
Yeah,
like to keep the muscle kind of warm and...
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you try and figure out what you're even writing about, like what you were saying, and then it kind of slowly almost starts turning into poetry as I go, I guess, or like it gets more rhythmic, and I mean, maybe, I don't know. That kind of
Lauren works a lot like that, actually.
Yeah. But I guess my question is, how do you guys, when you are writing a prose thing, are you trying to think more in, what does this mean to me? Like, if I'm outside of myself, like, what is this? What am I? And what does this song mean to me? Or are you looking more at like writing poetry and doing things? Like, how do you, when you get stuck like that? Like, I'm stuck in this image, or I have too many, I don't know.
Too many choices.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you are playing with the infinite, so narrowing it down is tough. But I try to pick things that I love. I love this sound of this word with this word. I don't know what it means yet, but I have to have it in there because I like it. I can't explain it yet. I think maybe it's not even making any sense, but there's a book on the book list called Poem Crazy by Susan G. Wooldridge, and she gives you the permission to just play with words like they're blocks. You just put them anywhere and meaning will take care of itself, and it usually does.
I think our brains are meaning-making machines.
Yeah.
They can't help it. You set them to work, you set them to work on a task, and they just spin out, they start. I love the idea too. I love your question about there being so many options, and I take that as a very heartening thing, that you can write infinite songs. You know, so you can say, okay, these things are pushing, they want in somehow. Well, they're not perfect for this, but we'll do the next one. But I always say, you know, you can find meaning in a teacup or a shoelace or celery stick. It doesn't matter. You can read it. I used to teach writing, and I would have my students all put their shoes on the table, and we'd say, let's read the shoes now. And we would read the meaning of each of those shoes, the stories in the shoes, even before we'd ask the person about them.
Wow.
I mean, as I always tell Lauren, like, Sherlock Holmes is one of my great squeezes, I guess. I love him. Anybody who pays attention is just so interesting, you know, and as songwriters, we have that opportunity to pay attention to a hole in somebody's sock and think about what that means and and then of course we also acknowledge that what we do with it is completely idiosyncratic, but we could do 1,000 things with a hole in a sock and a celery stick together. I mean, imagine. Imagine. It is so exciting how infinite it all is, you know, and it's really only the question of time. How much time do we have really to be making songs, you know? But they'll come. I like to do, I like to make instant songs sometimes that I will never play for another person. Just sit down at the piano, make maybe a 1-verse song with a chorus, and that's it, because that affirms to myself that there's infinite. I'm in the channel. The fire hose is aimed at my head, and it's aimed at all your heads. You know, it's only us who hold up the umbrella and say, "Not now, please." but mostly, I want to stay there and get soaked, you know, and keep that muscle going. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Sounds like you're doing some fun stuff.
Do you feel like more often than not you're the vehicle for a song, or do you feel like it's coming from you? Because I feel like a lot of the best songs that I ever wrote, I didn't get to choose that I wrote them. I had no choice, and it just came how it came. And
You heard it first.
yeah,
You heard it first. I like that. I think that's
they
really
already
true.
existed or whatever.
I think it's cool to make room for both kinds, for
Right.
the kinds that just come down to you and the kinds you root around for,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can always be doing something. You know, you get those amazing birthday presents, not on your birthday, that the songs just come. And then you have other ones where you just mess around and, like you did, Lauren, you know, finding a riff and then making something happen. And then often I do think it's like the ones who help themselves get helped, you know. You kind of stir up the pot and something does come to you. But yeah, it's beautiful.
They're their own little living things or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're lucky to be the zookeepers
Yeah.
of such animals.
It's true.
Did you have a question?
Right? Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
I was just wondering I was thinking that before coming here, like when I was starting to write songs, every time I finished, it was just like such a thrilling experience, like to feel that rush.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I always thought it was like the greatest thing in the world.
It is, yeah.
And I remember writing like not only the feeling, but like the song I had just written, I guess because I just associated it with what I was feeling. And then looking back, I guess I wrote a lot of crap. And what we do here, and I think part of what we learn at Berkeley is like you tell us in your class, Lauren, that like the rules didn't come first. I mean, we've studied harmony, and these are the patterns that work. And it's we study a lot of things that have been effective in songwriting, and lyric writing, and just in music. So, I mean, I guess the biggest dilemma I have now is that when I finish a song, like, how can I tell if it's good? You know, like, I'm scared of before. I thought everything was good, and then looking back, it's not. Like, is there anything that you look out for that you just know you've written a good song?
If you like it, it is good. I mean, I really appreciate all the knowledge and everybody's take and every professor's point of view on things. But they're telling you what they like and what they think is good. And to me, it's like I love chocolate, someone else loves raspberry. I'm not going to start a war over it. You know?
Phew.
I think it's very subjective like that. And you will get better and better, but keep comparing yourself to yourself. And if you like it, even if nobody else likes it, that's what all the people who've ever been turned down for record deals or getting their books published felt, that there's this conviction there that there's something they felt very attached to, and someone's going to publish it, by God, that kind of thing, even if you self-publish it, you know? And then somebody turns around and realizes, wow, that was brilliant, and it's like, I told you, you know? If you're connected to it, other people will connect to it. And I do understand. I mean, I always thought I was good. Even when I was 10 or 9 when I started, I thought I was good. And it's the funniest thing because you look back and you go, oh dear God. Couldn't play a time, couldn't play a tune, couldn't sing a tune, you know. And my teachers would tell me, well, it's a nice song, but you're singing out of tune. And I'd be like, they're crazy. And then you